There are important flammability regulations that apply to children's sleepwear. Title 16 CFR 1615 is applicable for children's sleepwear in sizes 0 to 6X, while CFR 1616 is applicable to children's sleepwear sizes 7 to 14. Although there are two different regulation numbers, they are virtually alike. All textile products used in children's sleepwear must meet these regulations. The regulation was amended to exclude snug-fitting children's sleepwear and sleepwear for infants aged 9 months or younger. Unlike Title 16 CFR 1610 General Wearing Apparel Standard, where the standard test method instructions are in the regulation, the testing methodology for 1615 and 1616 is based on an ASTM test method D6413, standard test method for flame resistance of textiles, commonly referred to as the vertical test. This standard method is also used on textiles and garments other than children's sleepwear. For example, fabrics used in uniforms for hazardous work conditions. Although the scope of D6413 states that test results from a controlled laboratory environment may not predict a garment's reaction to flame and heat in actual use, this standard has extensive history and is widely used. The vertical test is more severe than the 45-degree angle test because the original fabric and the seams and trims in the sleepwear garment must be tested in their original state and after 50 home launderings. The regulation also requires extensive record-keeping and the retention of fabric tested for 5 years. ASTM Test Method 6413 involves the testing of specimens positioned vertically above a flame of a specified height for a specified time. After the flame is removed, after flame on the specimen is timed, as well as after glow, if it occurs. In addition, any observation of melting or dripping is noted and recorded. Then char lengths are measured. The apparatus is a metal chamber with its back wall painted black to help view the specimen and flame during a test. The apparatus has a glass door to facilitate observation during the test. The test chamber has a rod on which a test specimen holder is suspended and a metal arm extending from the back wall of the cabinet with a slot in which the holder is secured into the required testing position. The burner used in the test is equipped with a needle valve to facilitate adjustment of the flame height. The burner is connected to the methane gas source that has specified controllers and connections, including methane-safe tubing. The burner must be movable so that it can be placed directly under the center edge of the specimen. Unlike the specimen holders used in the 45-degree angle test that have two individual metal plates, the vertical test specimen holders are hinged at the top with a bent edge so that the specimen holder can be suspended from the top of the test chamber. 10 specimens are tested, 5 in the length direction and 5 in the width direction of the fabric. Each specimen is 76 by 300 millimeters. The best sampling practice is to take specimens in different length or width locations within the 1 meter full width sample cut. An additional 1 meter full width cut of fabric is taken for 10 additional specimens to be used for testing after 50 home launderings. Plus, an extra amount of fabric must be retained for the 5-year period. Test specimens are to be conditioned according to ASTM D1776 standard practice for conditioning textiles for testing to reach moisture equilibrium at standard atmospheres or for a minimum of 24 hours. As with the 45-degree angle test, vertical tests are performed in test apparatus and laboratory fume hoods. To perform the test, the burner flame height must be adjusted to achieve a 38 millimeter height and maintain its integrity during the 12-second flame exposure time. Care must be taken to ensure the specified flame height. This is usually accomplished by eliminating all room light, or as seen here, pulling a black curtain to block out light. As conditioning areas and fume hoods are usually not in the same laboratory space, a conditioned specimen must be tested within 4 minutes of being removed from conditioning. A common practice used by testing labs is to place multiple conditioned specimens in a desiccator for transport to the testing room, where a specimen can be mounted in the specimen holder and tested within the 4-minute time span without losing moisture equilibrium. A test specimen is placed between the two halves of the specimen holder and secured in place with the bottom edge of the specimen even with the bottom edge of the holder. The specimen is secured using 4 clamps, 2 near the top of the holder on each side and 2 near the bottom of the holder on each side. The fume hood should be turned off during the test. The specimen is secured into position so that the burner with the flame at the prescribed height will be in the middle of the lower edge of the specimen when the test is started. The specimen is to be set 19 millimeters above the burner. The flame impingement timer is started as soon as the flame is moved under the lower edge of the specimen and continues for 12 seconds. During the 12 seconds, it is to be noted whether the fabric melts or drips. Immediately after the flame is removed, timers are activated to measure after-flame and afterglow times. The time of how long the specimen has visible flame, and then how long or if the specimen has afterglow visible once after-flame has stopped, are to be recorded to the nearest 0.2 seconds. The specimen holder is removed from the test chamber to cool. Once cooled, the specimen can be removed from the holder. Char lengths are determined by folding the specimen along a line through to the peak of the charred area and parallel to the specimen sides. Using a wire hook, the specimen is punctured approximately 6 millimeters from the bottom edge and side edge of the specimen. A weight is attached to the hook that will create enough force to tear through the charred length. The tearing force for char length determination is based on the yield of the fabric before flame retardant or coating treatments are applied. A 100-gram weight, the force to create a tear along the specimen char length, is used for fabrics with yields between 68 and 203 grams per square meter. The weight force to be used increases with higher yield range of fabrics being tested. To apply the specified force, grasp the specimen on the opposite bottom edge from where the hook and weight are attached. Gently raise the specimen upward in a smooth, continuous motion until the total force, hook plus weight, is supported by the fabric. Lay the specimen flat on a surface. Mark the end of the tear with a line across the full width of the specimen perpendicular to the fold line. The char distance is measured along the undamaged specimen edge from the bottom end of the specimen to the marked line to the nearest 3 millimeters. For each fabric direction, the average after-flame time, afterglow time, and char length are recorded. The stages of children's sleepwear flammability testing are fabric, original and after 50 home launderings, prototype seams and trims, and production garment. The results of testing allow for either a pass or fail judgment. The average char length must be less than 7 inches. 1 or 2 char lengths longer than 7 inches are allowed if the average char length does not exceed 7 inches.